Welcome to our web exclusive. I'm Mike Montecalvo along with Eyewitness News analyst Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio. There's a lot going on in the world, General, but we had an issue with the Amber Alert this week and we want to talk a little bit about that. It was something that was implemented in the late 1990s for children that went missing. You were Adjutant General and Director of the EMA in Rhode Island when that was implemented. How did it all start?
It started basically with a kid named Amber. I can't remember the last name, but nevertheless, it was called the Amber Alert Plan, referencing his first name. And then it spread, and that was somewhat of a cooperative concern between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, other agencies, and a voluntary participation not only by law enforcement agencies but by businesses also. And then it expanded to where it is right now, where you have basically the genesis of EAS, which is the emergency alert system, and they piggyback on that using it as the Amber Alert as well as the Silver Alert system, which is another alert system we use.
All right, it's an urgent bulletin for missing children. Now, once law enforcement determines a child has been abducted and it meets the criteria, then all of these messages go up.
Correct.
What is the criteria?
The criteria has much to do with credibility and making sure that when somebody reports something, there is in fact some follow-through. A detective is sent to the individual making the complaint. They make sure that it's legitimate. They make sure that there's evidence of being either abducted or certainly some other harm. A witness that perhaps saw the actual kidnapping or abduction, and they have reason to believe that there's enough credibility here to proceed with it and issue the Amber Alert.
All right, what happens if you notice something or get some information?
Good point, Mike. The one major thing that has to be followed in this whole system is that it is never intended for someone to pursue a vehicle if they identify it with a number plate or some other description. The intent is to make sure that you report it to local law enforcement, state police, and the particular number that's referred to on the bulletins and the billboards that are on the highway systems. Extremely important. It's never intended to be have everybody be a law enforcement individual. You need to report it, not pursue it.
Well, Amber Alert is 17 years old and younger. It's not just about kidnapping, too. If they determine a child has run away. We've learned, General, about 656 children nationwide have been saved because of the Amber Alert system, which means the info goes across state lines.
It does. Once again, the decision is made initially as to exactly how far it goes. When they first get credible information, that is shared nationally. But the actual implementation or the promulgation of the actual visual aspects of it on the billboards does not go across the nation. It's only within a region, either a state or adjacent states, such as perhaps we may see from time to time. It would involve Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and maybe even other states within the first region area. And then it would go out nationally should they determine that there's some connectivity between this and something else in another state.
You're talking about Amber Alert, but just a few minutes ago you mentioned Silver Alert, and that's obviously for adults 18 and over. It's not just for the elderly, too.
It's exactly right. It has much to do with the cognitive aspects of whatever complaint is lodged with the state police to launch it. The kid could be, even below 17 or any age, as well as the elderly. But it's really intended to do with such things as perhaps Alzheimer's or any kind of cognitive scenario where they really don't know where they are or they don't know who they are from time to time.
And we've seen recently where a Silver Alert has been issued. It was an Alzheimer's patient that walked away and they were found safe. Let's switch gears quickly, General, for a second. The Pope is in Brazil. If you look at the pictures, it looks like here's a man that's trying to get out to the people, kind of wants to change the image of the Catholic Church, but he is crossing dangerous grounds because he is not following what his security is telling him.
You know, I know based upon personal experience, having been pretty close to the Pope from time to time, this particular Pope wants to set a new set of parameters as it relates to his relationship with the general public. Somewhere in between that has to be a public safety issue for him and his personal safety. As an example, over the last day or so, his vehicles were caught in the middle of a traffic jam, and you roll the windows down trying to touch people, and so that is extremely dangerous. He's got to listen to people who are around him.
All right, General Centracchio, as always, thank you for your thoughts, and thanks for watching.